Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. So, Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf is the third Scooby Doo movie in my series of reviewing every single Scooby Doo movie in order of release. So, the ones I've reviewed so far are Scooby Doo and the Boo Brothers and Scooby Doo and the Ghoul School, and I think that this movie is probably the most plot driven out of the three. In the Boo Brothers, as I said, there's a lot of B plots and C plots. There's like so many different side plots. And in the Ghoul School, the main plot of Revolta trying to capture the kids doesn't really happen till the end of the movie. But in this film, we start off right away with Dracula sending his henchmen to try and convert Shaggy into a werewolf. Shaggy gets converted to a werewolf, and just the whole plot follows one scene after the other. There's no filler scenes, there's no side plots, it's just everything that needs to happen in the story happens in the story with nothing extra. So, as is very common in these older Scooby-Doo films with Red Shirt Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy, and none of the rest of the gang, the monsters are real, and I mean, there's Dracula, there's Frankenstein, there's a swamp creature, there's Jekyll and Hyde, there's the mummy, there's the lizard monster, like there's a ton of monsters. Oh, there's a skeleton too, obviously. And yeah, there's a ton of monsters, and they do a decent job of making them like somewhat scary. Like they feel like an actual presence that could harm Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy and Shaggy's girlfriend, but still they are very comedic, so like it's not actually scary. I guess as the movie progresses, they kind of get less and less of a threat, because the more you see Dracula and his henchmen like fail, it kind of just makes them less of a scary presence for Scooby and Shaggy. And there's no real consequences, because most of the time they're able to thwart their challenges and their like attempts to kill them and make them lose the race, basically. So it starts off good with them being kind of scary, the monsters, and then it kind of goes downhill a little bit, but still I did like the monsters. So something that's a little odd in this film is that there's a lot of narration in the first maybe 10 minutes or so. Like there's a narrator as Shaggy's winning his race, and then there's a narrator as Dracula's talking about how he needs a new werewolf for his race, and then there's some more narration, and then it kind of disappears after that. I thought that was a little weird how it didn't either A, carry through the whole film, or B, I think it was very unnecessary. And narration is something that you shouldn't usually include in your film unless it adds to the film. I don't think it adds to the film here. Like, we could have just had Shaggy win his race, cut to Dracula talking about how he needs a new werewolf, and like we didn't really need that narration, but it's not a big deal. It's just something I found a little odd for why they chose to include it. So most people know Scooby-Doo for the gang and the mystery solving, and this film actually doesn't have either of those two. Like obviously Fred, Velma, and Daphne are in the film, and there's no real mystery to solve unless you want to consider the gang trying to figure out how to get Shaggy to not be a werewolf. Like maybe that's a mystery, but it's not really a mystery because they find out that Dracula says he's going to turn Shaggy back. So like they're not trying to solve the mystery of how to change Shaggy back, they're just trying to get Shaggy back to a regular person. And I feel like, I mean, it's not a huge deal because the plot of this film is unique. It's one of the only Scooby-Doo films that includes like a race and like not really a mystery. The only other one came like years and years later with the Curse of the Speed Demon, which I think this is a better race because it's with actual monsters, not WWE stars for some reason. But yeah, it is a little odd that there's like no mystery whatsoever. However, it's still not terrible. Like I still like the film, and I don't really care if every once in a while there's not a mystery. They're just like with monsters and just have to try and deal with that. So as I just said, the race is kind of unique for Scooby-Doo. I actually really did enjoy it. I thought it was very interesting to see Shaggy race against all these monsters, and to see Shaggy display a skill that he doesn't usually display. Like usually he's just scared and hungry and stuff like that, but then he's like suddenly a super cool race car driver. I found that kind of interesting. It was like I said, it was unique, and I did actually really enjoy the race. Something again that was not so great about the race though is A, how Shaggy's always in front. Like he gets a huge setback and then 30 seconds later he's in front. I guess he's a fantastic driver and the monsters are kind of crap, but that was a little unbelievable, I guess you could say. And something else that was a little weird about the race is the announcers, like every time Dracula or his wife, I think it was his wife, every time Dracula or his wife talk about Shaggy being in the lead. They're like, and Shaggy's way in the lead, and then he like gets a flat tire or something, and then 10 seconds later everyone passes him. I wouldn't consider a 10-second lead to be way in the lead. Like, I consider him to be like miles or kilometers in front of them, but whatever. I guess they're used to a tight race, so maybe Shaggy being 10 seconds ahead is what they consider to be a huge lead, but I don't know. That's actually basically all I have to say about this film. It's a really strong film. As I get into the ratings here, I'm going to give this film a very good 9 out of 10. I believe this is the highest rating I've given one of these Scooby Doo films so far. It's probably the one that I've enjoyed the most so far out of the three. Boo Brothers is comparable, but in terms of quality, I think this is slightly better than the first two, so that's why I'm giving it a slightly better rating. So yeah, that is all I have to say today. So next week I'm going to be reviewing the fourth Scooby Doo film, which is Scooby Doo and Arabian Nights. So if you want to find my reviews to the previous Scooby Doo movies in this series, you can find a playlist on my channel. You can also see that there's Scooby Doo and the Ghoul School. That review is linked right here. And if you're new around here, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here, so I know that you guys do enjoy these videos. And if you want more updates on my videos, make sure to check out my Instagram, ntd_films. Thank you guys all for watching, and have a good day.